Good morning. It's Thursday, October 3rd. Hope you're enjoying this morning. It's a good day. This morning I was reading Luke 13 to 16, and the scripture I wanted to share on was Luke chapter 14, verse 24. And to kind of give some background, Jesus here, he's given a parable. And he talks about a man who tells his servants, he says, hey, I've prepared a banquet for my friends. Go out and invite them. And the banquet's already ready. He just wants them to come and enjoy a feast with him and eat the food that he's prepared for them. So the servants go out and they invite all his friends, and they all have excuses. One of them says, hey, I just got married. I got to go on my honeymoon. One of them's working. One of them has to take a far trip for business reasons. But they all have excuses. None of them can come to the feast. So then he tells them to go out and into the highways and the byways and to invite people. And then the last statement that he says, because he says, go out on the highways and the hedges and compel people to come in, that my house might be full. And then the last verse of that parable, verse 24, Jesus says, for I tell you, none of those men who were invited shall taste my banquet. Jesus says, none of those men who were invited shall taste my banquet. Usually when this story is taught, this parable is taught, we see it as that Jesus has sent out people to share the gospel. And those who will receive it will go to the wedding feast of the Lamb. And those who don't won't. And it was given to the Jewish people because the Pharisees wouldn't receive him. And so they weren't going to eat at that wedding feast of the Lamb in heaven. And that's completely true. I just want to look at this at a different angle this morning. Because I believe every day God calls us to walk with him. But he calls us to come spend time with him. He says, Thom, get up early in the morning. Come spend time with me. I have a feast for you. Because we live off of his words. We're fed off of his words. Why? Because he is his words. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He became flesh and dwelt among us. So he says, Thom, every morning, come spend time with me. Maybe for you it's the afternoon, I don't know. Or maybe, come drive with me. I'm going to sit with you in your car. Would you listen to me? But God's an intimate God, and he calls us into intimacy with him. And many of his children don't answer that call. Many of his children never sit down with him. Many of his children never go to their prayer closets and seek him. Many of his children, they spend time in church, they listen to Bible studies, they hear his voice during the Bible studies, hopefully. But many of his children do not go and feast with him on a regular basis and sit with him and learn from him and fed by him and just listen to his words and take them into their heart and meditate on what he is saying. If we refuse that, if we're too busy, like these men were doing other things, if we're too busy, I got too much going on today, Lord, I can't spend my time with you. Then just like Jesus said, for I tell you, none of those men who were invited shall taste my banquet. If we don't spend time with Jesus, if we don't listen to him, if we don't fellowship with him, we will not eat at the banquet that he's prepared for us that very day. The words that he gives us in the morning or in the afternoon or whenever you spend time with him, for me it's the morning when it's quiet. I feast off of the banquet that he's prepared. That's my prayer, is that his people will learn to spend time with him, that his people will learn that he has called us into a relationship, that he wants to mold us and shape us by spending time with us into his image. Then the things that we do will reflect what he wants us to do. Because we'll know that we are loved and that we are being transformed from spending time with him. That's my prayer. Thanks for listening to me today.